Hey, this is Ken Finnan of Capital Advantage Tutoring, and it's my job to get you through the SIE exam, the Series 7 top-off, and the Series 6 exam the first time. So if you watch my videos and you like what I'm doing, hit subscribe, hit the notifications, and tell people. Because this is nowhere else in the world that you're going to get basically all the information for free. I'm doing it for free. Yes, if you want to hire me as a tutor, that's great, but I am super busy doing that. But I'm trying to give a little bit back on my downtime. So I want to help out all the people around the country who can't really afford to pay my rates. Feel free to leave comments. Feel free to put a like up or a like down, even bad comments. Don't be mean, but because I might cry. But we're going to talk about the different types of broker-dealers and stuff. So first of all, to get past this SIE and the Series 7 top-off and stuff, you sort of need to know the actual firms and the institutions that you're dealing with. And we did a little bit before talking about a broker-dealer versus an IA. But here, we want to talk about a little deeper dive into it. And to get past the Series 7, Series 6, and the SIE exam, you probably need to at least have an understanding of this stuff. So the first thing we're going to talk about is when they clear a trade. What does that mean to clear a trade? So clearing a trade is when you buy shares. Say you buy $1,000 worth, 1,000 shares of IBM at say 50. That's 50 grand. So that means you're going to buy $50,000 worth of stock. So what happens is on Monday, you place the order. You execute it, you buy it at 50. Now on the second day, which is now Wednesday, the broker-dealer will send the money to the person you bought it from, and then the other person will send the shares to you on Wednesday. When that happens, the trade clears. That's where the shares go back and forth. The actual company that takes care of that is a DTCC. It's a separate entity that's owned by all the broker-dealers and banks. It's technically a nonprofit, but that's what it's for. Now, there's two types of broker-dealers here. So there's broker-dealers that actually clear trades. Like they are the broker-dealer, and they have the money, they have the shares, they send them out and bring them in. As you buy, they send the money out and they get the shares. When you sell the shares, they have them, they deliver them to the other person, and they get the money. Those are clearing or general BDs or full service. I work for a very small broker-dealer. So what happens is we don't have the back office, or we don't want to spend the money on the back office. So we're really what they call an introducing broker-dealer. So an introducing broker-dealer, or fully disclosed, an introducing broker-dealer is a broker-dealer that does not have a back office per se to do the clearing and margin and all that. We hire like a JP Morgan or a Morgan Stanley or a Merrill Lynch or Bank of New York, even Jefferies, to do our clearing for us. So what happens is when we do a trade, we let them know the trade we did and how much money and all that, and then they do the clearing for us. So actually, when we go to a trade with another side, we say, oh, by the way, you're going to do the clearing with Jefferies. It's not that casual, but that's really what it is that we do a trade, and they go, by the way, I'm not giving you the money, Jefferies is. So that's what an introducing broker-dealer is. A clearing firm does everything. They do the whole thing, and then we have an introducing broker-dealer, which is what I do, and I do not have the money or the securities or anything inside the firm. It's all held at the clearing firm or even at the customer's, their custodian bank, stuff like that. Okay. So now we have hedge funds. So let's talk about hedge funds a little bit. So a hedge fund is basically a pooled investment for accredited investors. And the thing is, they can do a lot of things, but they are big customers or institutions. So they may want to use various broker-dealers to execute trades for them, but they don't want to keep moving their shares and their money from each broker-dealer to broker-dealer as they do it. Like I worked for a guy at a hedge fund that he would place a buy order with one broker-dealer and then place a sell order with the other one so no one knew whether he made money or not. So that was his thing. But if we didn't have the setup I'm about to talk about, then what would happen is you would have to take the money, buy it there, and then take the securities, transfer them to the other broker-dealer, and then sell them. That's a pain. So they set up a clearing firm, technically a prime broker, where everything's in one place, like a JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Merrill Lynch, Jefferies, all these big firms that you've heard of, Goldman. What happens is if I'm a hedge fund, I'll have all my money and all my shares at that prime broker or clearing firm. All the money's there. And then we have arrangements with little and tiny broker-dealers that actually execute for us. So if they execute for us, the prime brokers, say JP Morgan, will send them the shares to go to the other side. So if I have an account with Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe, and I buy 100 shares of IBM at 50 from Charles Schwab, just say that's what we do. Now, Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe owes $5,000 to Charles Schwab, so when they get the shares, they let JP Morgan know. JP Morgan sends them the money, who then sends it to Schwab. Schwab then has the money, gets the shares, sends them to my broker-dealer, and then sends them to JP Morgan, and I see that on my account. That's kind of how the clearing firm hedge fund thing works. Okay. That's really more of a prime brokerage thing, but that's kind of what they do. I hope that helps a little bit. The prime broker thing allows you, as a customer, to use various broker-dealers without having to move the shares back and forth between all the different places. Okay. Now, if we do options, if we do options on an exchange, they don't use DTCC, they use the OCC, the Options Clearing Corp. So options don't get done through DTCC, they do it through OCC, the Options Clearing Corp, and they settle in 1 day. So DTC does 2 days, the OCC options clear them in 1 day. So then we have other entities that we have to deal with. We have custodians. Those are like the banks and the other financials that hold our securities for us, so then we move them over. They may even hold them in physical form. It's just that they're holding them for us so that when we do trades. Registrars and transfer agents are in charge of making sure that the list of shareholders, the number of shares outstanding, all that stuff moves smoothly. So the transfer agent's job is to make sure that when you buy or sell shares, it transfers over and the ownership name transfers well enough.